What you doing, Em? Can I have my jacket back? Watch out, baby girl. Watch out. Watch out.
Good afternoon. We have a very bizarre 78-degree day in November here in Southeast Missouri. So I am taking full advantage on my lunch break to get some leaves cleaned up and get a few things picked out of the garden before it turns cold again, because I don't think we're going to see 70 degrees again before next spring. So I have some green beans that need to be harvested, and some tomatoes are actually looking ripe in the greenhouse, so probably a few of those. I think I'm going to leave the lettuce still. I still have some in my bin in the house, and if I leave it growing, it'll do great, but if I pick it and it doesn't get used and I have to throw it away, I think it's going to break my heart. So just green beans and tomatoes, and then I've got some compost I need to add to my pile. So just minor little things, but let's get going. I'm gonna start in here. I really need to water yet too, but I just wanted to show you the tomatoes because this is just so crazy that it's November and we're getting ripe tomatoes. Let's see how soft this one is, if it's actually ready to pick. Feels like I could use another day or so. These Cherokee purples, look at this. Aren't they beautiful? And then we've got some more back in there. They're definitely ripening. It won't be too much longer and I'll be able to pick those. And I have one back here. Kind of hard to see through everything to get to it, but let me see if I can get around here. And it wasn't soft yet, so I kind of just left it, but it should be ready to go now. So we're gonna give it a pluck. Look at this. It is November and I'm picking tomatoes. How cool. Lettuces are still growing. It looks like our romaine are starting to take off a little bit from where they were. And then our little dwarf tomato plants. Not a whole lot of change in those. These are some vinca vines that I have in water so they can root. And then I'm gonna put them in my landscaping in the front. And then here's the other little dwarf. Ooh, that one's taken off quite a bit. I didn't notice it because these are laying in front of them. I still need to come and do some trimming of these bushes, and I just don't know if I'm gonna have time to do that today because it's just about time to go back to work. Cleaning up leaves took up most of my hour, so let's get started on picking these green beans. I think the most annoying part of this little getup is how much work it takes to undo it all, but it's kept my green bean season going a lot longer than it should have been, so I won't complain too much. Garden friend whenever I went to pull this off. Too bad there's not too many insects right now for him to keep away, but if he wants to stay through spring, that will be okay with me. Ooh, look at all of these. Gosh. I knew I should have quite a bit because the last time I looked in here with the cover completely off, there were quite a few small ones. And with these warm days we've had the last couple of days, or the last 3 days, looks like they have taken off. I'm curious to see if I might be able to get enough to just freeze them and save for Thanksgiving. I think we got a pretty decent haul. So there are only going to be 8 people at Thanksgiving this year. Michael has to work and my grandma passed away in July. So it's just going to be myself, my 2 sons, my mom's stepdad, sister and her boyfriend, and then my grandpa. And I'm sure they'll want to do green bean casserole. Even before I was plant-based, I didn't like green bean casserole, so I'll probably make up a batch of these, just like some garlic green beans or something. And then as for the plants back here behind me, they are doing pretty good, but there aren't flowers anymore. There are still some small green beans, quite a few small green beans on the plants though, so I'm gonna leave them for a while longer and hopefully give those a chance to keep growing and get big, and then I can add to the stash here. But I think I am gonna go ahead and leave it open until this afternoon. I was planning to water again today, but you know, the soil feels pretty damp, so it needs a chance to like air out and dry out a little bit. It's plenty warm today, so they'll do great. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and cover them back up. The plastic that I had over this was actually just a big sheet of painter's plastic that I got from Menards for a few dollars. And then these are leftover doors I used to have over my tomato cage, like this big cage that kept the squirrels out of it, because the squirrels are like holy terrors in my yard. And then these are the doors that I took off of that when I took it all apart and moved the garden. And so I decided to use those and just make like a little teepee shape over this just green bean bed for now. Just for the time being, to get through the rest of this season, and then we'll have something different in the spring when it's time to start the whole garden afresh again. At any rate, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the plastic over it until we start getting temperatures down below 30 again, to where we're not just looking at frost, we're looking at a freeze. And by that point, I think I'm gonna be done trying to nurse along the green beans, just because it's too much work to keep coming outside and throwing blankets over it at night. So it's time to let it go. There's no more blooms on the plant, so we're not gonna have any new green beans anyway, so it's just a matter of letting the ones that are still there keep getting bigger. And then after that, it's just gonna be focusing on the greenhouse and keeping the tomato plants going as long as we possibly can. So at any rate, it's time to get back inside, clock back in for work, and take these bad boys inside so I can pop them in the freezer. Well, I'm already halfway done with the project that I started and realized that the whole intro to this project that I already recorded, apparently my camera wasn't even turned on. So let's do this again. If you are someone who lives in a mid-century modern house, you know, something built in the 60s and 70s, I know you're going to feel my pain. So this house was built in 1967, and I love a lot of things about it, but there are also things I really, really hate. Like, for example, pretty much every single outlet in the house is only a two-prong outlet. But the other big thing is I just don't like the closets in this house. They're all, you know, none of them are a walk-in. And then they all have the sliding doors on them. So you can only see half of your closet at a time. And I have toyed with the idea of replacing the doors and getting some that either swing open or a bifold. The problem is this opening will not, it's not a standard size, so it will not fit any of the doors that are pre-made. So I would have to have them custom built in order to fit this space, which would cost way more than being able to just, you know, run to the store and buy a couple of doors and install them. So I've kind of put it off, and when I was swapping out my clothes for the season, because that's another issue without having a walk-in closet, my entire wardrobe does not fit in one closet. So I keep a rack in the basement, and then I switch out my clothes seasonally. So while I was transitioning all of my spring and summer stuff out and my fall and winter stuff in, I finally was fed up with it enough that I said, to heck with it, I'm taking the doors off. And I've never done this before because I don't like the way it looks with curtains hanging over a closet door. Especially not for a 38-year-old woman. I finally decided to just do it because I felt like it was worth the trade-off to be able to see everything in my closet. But the other issue that I have is that none of the closets in this house have any lights in them either. That's not necessarily a problem that everyone has with this style of home, because my grandparents built their house in 1972 and they at least had the pull chain lights in their closets, but mine does not have anything. And so I decided while going through Christmas decorations, this strand of lights no longer had a purpose. So I thought, why not hang it inside and see if it might shed a little extra light inside the closet. And so that's what I'm working on. You would have seen me taping up just to like keep it in place before I staple. And then what you missed is I already stapled this half up before I realized that my camera was not recording. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up, turn it on, take a look at it, and see how much light it gives me. All right, lights are hung, so let's plug it in and see how it looks. All right, I shut off all of the lights. That way we could actually see the brightness in here. And I really think this is gonna work, at least as a temporary fix. So my original plan was to get one of those LED light strips that actually gets tacked up, and then you can even hardwire it in if you want to. And that would be a more permanent solution. But I thought this is at least a way that was completely free for me to test it out and see if I like it. And I think it's gonna work.
Yeah, he was like, if you can sweet talk Taylor into getting it for you, I'm like, oh,
That ought to be
we
easy
figure
enough.
every time we come in. All of our delicious junk food. Hey, don't forget the Christmas cakes in the back.
Those are yours. You already ran out at home, didn't you?
No, I have one left. But honestly, it would have been gone, but I forgot it was. I did it. Damn it.
The Laurent Perchon is $19.39. Albert Michaud is $31.89. The Montserrat is $29.99.
That's not too bad, baby.
The Pascal is $32.29.
Here's the one I
Henry Latour Saint Romain is $36.39.
There you go.
And then the Benjamin LaRue is $54.48.
They find you? I saw them walk up.
Oh, are they here?
Roger and some girl. Or Randy and some girl.
Do you remember Irene? My
No, maybe.
secretary? That's nice. Be careful with it. If you don't remember Dweet, he'll get mad at you. Oh! Put my hand through that trouble. Oh!
Yes! Yes! Alright, that's what I'm saying. What are you doing? Videoing again?
Yep.
Your dog is staring at you. Your dog is staring at you.
does that.
Videos.
Hobby Lobby always has a bunch of Christmas puzzles out every year, and they have a Christmas puzzle advent calendar that caught my eye this year. So I just picked it up and brought it home. So let me show you. So this is it. And each one of these little boxes has a 50-piece puzzle. And I was kind of curious, wasn't able to wait until December 1st to start looking. I wanted to see what the puzzles actually looked like. And they're all so adorable. And I'm probably gonna go ahead and put a puzzle or two together now, just for the fun of doing it. And then I will set this aside until December 1st and start working through them one day at a time. So let me get one together and I'll show you what it looks like. So cute. And it didn't take long at all to put together, maybe 10 minutes. So a nice little fun thing to do every evening throughout December.